Welcome back to episode 2 of my little series I'll be making about teaching people how to do Rocket League graphic design specifically, because there are a lot of tutorials on different graphic designs out there, but none of them really go in depth on how to do stuff in a way that isn't just creating one Abby. So I will be teaching you guys how to do your own thing and learn from me about different types of styles. I'll continue the series until we have done every single style I can think of. So, and to my best of my ability, I'm not perfect. I'm very not perfect. I'll throw up on the screen some of my stuff now if you want to see. Just not professional yet, but we made it to Aura. We got a long way to go. Okay, so let's start this thing. So the exciting thing about starting an Abby is that it is blank at first. It is just the best thing ever. You see this blank thing, you think, what can I do with this? And there's a lot you can do with it. So to start off, this is all about preference. Do you want to start out with the background or the layer style? Most of the time people choose the layer style first so they can make the background match that. Or flip-flop around. It's just whatever makes you comfortable. So I'm going to start out with the layer style real quick, because I got to teach you guys how to use blending options, your best friend. These will be so handy throughout your graphic design career. So I do not like this 3D layer on top. That is this one. I'm going to turn it off. You'll see it is now gone and it looks a lot better from my perspective. So from here, I can see some things I don't like on here. I'm going to go here and say clear layer style. It is now a blank canvas for us to work on. This is good. From here, we will go to blending options. So this is if you click on a layer and you right click at the very tippy top, blending options. Go on blending options. You have this whole big array of things. It looks like a lot of options, but really it's not. Don't worry about it. You see there's bevel and emboss, so time to teach you what each of these do. Bevel and emboss. This will be very handy. I already have a little setting here. We'll make this normal. Real quick. Bevel and emboss. Okay, this is what it should look like for the default stuff. Sorry. So the way this works is you can choose how deep you want this to go. This is going to try and make it, it's going to imitate a 3D shape. So a lot of the time you're going to see that it will be sort of like this. So this is trying to imitate like a 3D depth type thing. And these are really handy for really anything. If you want to make it try to pop out a little bit, there's a lot of things you can do here. I'm not going to get too crazy in depth with it. You can experiment all you want with the shading, the lighting, all that stuff. I love to use this one in particular. Whenever you do get this, you will basically have the basic 2, I believe, 2 or 3. So it imitates a 3D. Okay, and then so you'll have the basic view. Basically makes it 3D. I like the little highlight. Adds a little depth. It's kind of nice. So I'll turn that off for now. And these just add more of the same type of depth to it. It changes it slightly, make it how you want it. Okay. Texture, you won't really use this at all. Don't worry about it. Stroke. This is big. This is how you will get some of the cool effects. Right now I have a gradient. I don't know why. Yours will not look like that. Let's turn the size down. Okay. Why do I have bevel on? So this is a cool effect, because this is sort of how people get some nice looking just side effects. Because if you look at this, I duplicated the layer, and I have a stroke effect on it. Now I'm going to turn the effect on this on, but the one on the top of it if people turn down the fill. Now fill and opacity are two completely different things, however some of them times can have the same effect. Opacity turns everything down, like a whole layer down, even the effects on it. However, if you turn the fill down, the effects that you put on it right here, like we have the stroke, will stay on it. It just will make the normal logo inside it disappear. So you can see this if I take everything off. Now we have a normal opacity, turns everything gone. Everything's gone. However, if I turn the fill down, we still have that stroke. Now this is a really cool effect because if I turn on the 3D and the 2D and I make this, now this is the stroke layer. If I make it bigger, this is how people get those cool effects, where it makes it look like it's popping out. You'll see this in a few of the Abbeys that I'll put up on the screen now. And you can see that you can mess with that however you want. You can change the size. You can fully customize this. I usually like it around this size. You can change the color. Everything about this is completely customizable. Just go right click, blending options, and everything's there. So let's turn off the stroke real quick. Let's delete this. If you have a delete button on your keyboard, that's the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, right click, delete layer up here. So, and it's good to have these memorized. After a while, you'll get used to them. These in here, they change from time to, like, depending on what layer you have selected, they will change. So do not need to memorize all of these just yet. Rasterize layer, create clipping mask I will show you create clipping mask soon. This is a very important one. Very important. Clear layer style, copy layer style, also very important. I showed you the clear layer style earlier. We just cleared layer style now, and now it's back to normal. Blending options. Okay. Inner shadow. This is cool because this completely changes your logo. And the reason it does that, this is like, you can change the color of it obviously, but it creates a color on the inside that's blurred, or it can be blurred. Otherwise it can make it sharp depending on the size and distance. You can choose the angle that it's going at. This will create a cool effect in some, and others you will not use this. I've seen some Abbeys just like this, like they just use this as layer style. It's a choice. I mean, it is what it is, whatever you prefer. But I usually turn up the size a little bit, get a little dark on the outside. You can choose how hard this line is. I keep it all the way down. You can turn the noise up. That looks horrendous. I do not suggest. You can choose how the light affects it. I will explain these in a next one, or later on in this one. That's inner shadow. This is all about preference. I mean, all of these are, I'm just teaching you what these do right now, but these are all about preference. Inner glow. Inner glow, when it's not on color dodge, will have an effect where you can make it glow as deep of a color as you want. And it's going to go either towards the center, from the center to the edge, anything you want. Change the color, completely customizable. I love adding a white one, what's it called? Inner glow on darker Abbeys. It makes it look nice. In this case, we could add a darker inner glow and turn the range. Range will make it so that how far it spreads out. So this one makes it spread out really far. If you turn it all the way up, and it makes it very clustered if you keep it lower. So keep that bad boy up. That's inner glow. You can make it softer, more precise, more rigid. Gives off different effects. Center, edge, choke. More kind of like range. It changes how softly it edges in. Turn that side. It's all about preference. Everything's about preference. This is gonna be all up to you in the end. Satan, whatever you want to say. However this works, this it'll mess up the logo in a way that it separates it from itself, creating a different design. You can see these are just, if you look closely enough, it's just the logo inside the logo, but in different colors, giving it a cool effect. And you can change this color however you like. Oftentimes I do this and turn up the size, so I get like a random blurred dark effect. It looks cool sometimes. You can overlay things eventually when you have stuff on top. It makes it look nice. It just adds a little more darkness. Color overlay, big one. When on normal, when on normal, this will completely change the color of whatever you're working on. Whether we want it white, whether we want it dark. And then, so this will completely change colors. I like the middle colors, honestly. It's like a nice changing color. That's nice. I'm not going to keep that, but just for now, just to show. That changes it completely. Once we get more things on here, I'll show you how overlay and all these different things work. Okay, gradient overlay works the same exact way. On normal, it will change it to whatever gradient you have. I like these middle ones. And the scale determines how zoomed out and zoomed in it is. Change the angle, all customizable, everything. I'm gonna keep saying this, it's all up to you. Because I know when I started, I had nothing to teach me, and so it was all up to me, and it turned out horrible. And so, you're gonna get through some bad ones, but it's all what you like. I mean, your taste is gonna change when you make some better things, and once you get a lot better, you're gonna be like, oh, this was way worse than what I do now. But back then, it was pretty good. So, taste changes, everything changes. Pattern overlay. This one, this is cool. I didn't know I had this pattern on here, but you can add a pattern on top of it. I mean, I don't know if I've ever used this one, to be honest with you, but you can check this out and, get a few patterns going. There's some basic ones that come with Photoshop, like trees, leaves. Outer glow. Outer glow is a big one. You're going to use it a lot on text, and I'll show you how in a second. Now, outer glow, make it bigger, smaller, adds an LED type effect. Like, look, this is glowing. It's a really cool effect. And like a white on yellow type thing. Looks really neat. Changes, depending on like what color you use, it makes it kind of look like a light. And it looks like it's just a cool effect. I mean, you can customize it however you want. Pretty nice. Now, drop shadow can be very handy in trying to make things look more realistic. And this is because on multiply, or normal even, on multiply specifically, you can change the angle of it. However, if you're trying to make things look more realistic, when the shadow is going down, you can see it looks more like depth. It adds more depth to it, and depth is going to be a big thing when you come to graphic design. But you don't want too much of the darkness, so maybe tone that down. And it looks pretty nice. You can do this. You can make it go as far down as you want. You can make it completely underneath it. All up to you. It just adds a little shadow. Exactly what it says. Drop shadow. Okay, now that we've explained that, let's get started with this thing. Okay. Now, one thing that's going to be very handy to you is at the beginning of your graphic career, you're going to want some GFX packs. I'll put a link to the description to some of them, and you can comment if you want other ones. But there are some graphic pack packs. This one you have to do a few things before, but I'll show you this. Graphic effect packs, such as this one, made by Fukushima and who was it? Fukushima and Faro. and it's super cool. They usually have a thumbnail that they made with all of the stuff in the pack, to show how it can be used. Very cool. Thanks for downloading. Thank you, Fukushima. Okay, and this is, you're gonna find everything. There's everything you could ever want in here. Color corrections, changes the different colors of each thing. Very, very handy. These clean overlay, clean stocks. Stock images are going to be your saving grace. However, so for our purposes, we're gonna make a very basic IVA first. This is gonna be the first one. It's gonna be super basic for you guys. Atomic. There's a few different examples of the layer styles. I'll show. There's one in the corner, left corner, the green one. That'll be, I believe, this one. Let's find out. No, they're in different order. I lied. I like this red one. I like this red one. And so I think I'll be using this. Key thing in graphic effects packs. Right click and copy layer style. That is, or copy in general, whenever you're copying stock images. You're just gonna copy. Control C also works on your computer, but not for layer styles. Keep in mind, for layer styles, you have to go in here, right click, copy layer style. Now, if we just click over here, we should have these. If not, your workspace is messed up. Windows workspace, fix it. You should be able to just go in here and right click on the layer you want it to be on. I'm gonna press paste layer style. We got a nice basic red, white, and black layer style. This is cool. It looks cool. Now, one thing I want to do is now get a 3D layer style. Now, this is again all preference, but whenever I see, like, whenever there's a darker thing, you want to make it darker than the actual 2D, so it looks like the shadow is on it. So, what I'm going to do here is simply change the color a little bit, and then I'm going to add, I believe I'm going to add a stroke here. I'm going to add a stroke. So, again, all I did, right click, blending options should be at the top. Come in here, I changed the color slightly, do whatever you like, and then stroke. Stroke, I mean, I could make this a white stroke, make it small, so then you can see the actual logo, makes it more visible. But it does look kind of weird down here and everywhere else. I think we have to make it a bit thicker. And this is all from experience, you know. Look at there. That's a bit too thick. We want a good in-between. Let's see, 2. No, I think 2 is a good in-between. Not too dark, not too light. Looks pretty good. So now, we have a basic layer style. I'm not going to do too much crazy stuff with this. This is the level 1 type thing. And we're going to make the background now. Now, one way to make the background, and this is purely because I have this graphic pack open. This is a beginner tutorial, so graphic packs are going to be kind of what we're going to mainly use. Is stocks, and if they have a thing called backgrounds, some of them do, some of them don't. Stocks and backgrounds. Stocks. We didn't make any of the stocks. Credit from Pinterest. All credits to the creator. That's nice. So the stocks are, these are just random images you can find on Google, Pinterest, like they said. I use Pinterest. But you're gonna find a ton of these things in here. And these are all handy. There's a bunch of cool ones, HD ones, and the thing I like about this specific pack is that it stretches them out the full way. And so if I Control C, I just can press Control C, I go to the background section of a folder right here. I press this, and for some reason my thing wasn't there, and I paste. It's way bigger than the actual 1000 by 1000 image, so then it'll become a higher definition as I zoom out. So that was just an example image, but move on. I actually saw one I really liked. I think I will use maybe this one. I Control C, we'll see how it looks. This is a big thing I do, is I copy and paste many times, just seeing how things would look inside the image and if I would like it or not. Now, you can rotate. Here's the thing. Rotate. If you hover outside of the actual line, you'll see this arrow pop up, and you click, you can rotate freely. I'm going to rotate, put it in the corner. And you got your first stock in there. So this is good. We can drag it into the background if we want to. Otherwise, as long as it's underneath everything else, it should be fine. And so this is... we can make this... yeah, this is fine. So big thing with stocks. See, these ones have already been rasterized because they're in this pack. Right click. I'm going to make this brush pretty big. I usually have it around the 300 and 400 area. And the hardness at 0. Big thing. Keep it at 0 if you're going to blend. So what I mean, you'll see, is whenever I'm not going to be directly on it. Could erase you. I'm going to be right outside of it until I can see it disappears. And I'm going to keep hovering there and keep erasing. So now I have a nice smooth fade into my next stock image. And it's going to be nice and clean. And you'll barely notice it, if at all. Now that we have that in there. Now, yeah, sure, we have one stock image in. So what? You are going to learn that you need a lot of stock images. So these graphic packs are really good if you want to find random stock images. But once you find a theme, you want to kind of stick with that theme, so that's what makes things hard. Like, these are all very good stock images, however, not the right theme for me. And I can change themes midway if I wanted to. But I'll see if I can find one real quick. If not, we will switch gears, because I'm making this as I go. You know, you can just click through here. That's a very high definition image. I don't know if we're gonna find anything very much of use in here. So I'm thinking we'll have to. So actually, I could make one of these work. This looks like a good image. Okay. So we're gonna take this, Control C, and put it in here. Now you want to size everything down. Size it down by clicking on one of these joints. You don't have to click on the joints. I just prefer to use it because it gives me an exact scale down type thing. We're gonna put it wherever you want it. I mean, I'll put the thing in the middle. And actually, so we're gonna put this in the background. Now, you're gonna see, I know it's a different color, but I'm gonna teach you how to change that. So we're gonna erase as much as we need to, as we want to, by doing the same thing I just told you. I'm actually gonna make this slightly bigger, not 2,000 pixels bigger, but yeah, like that. That way, it kind of fades in. Very basic, very cool. Okay. Now that you have these two stock images in, from there, we're going to click on the image. Click on the layer that you want to choose to change the color of. We are going to see, you have a bunch of tools down here that I have not explained yet. Was an effects tool. That is what the blending options setting is. I just find that is a much easier way than going down to here. You have this, which is a layer mask. You will learn about that yourself. I'll let you figure that one out. And this is what you will need. Hue and saturation is right in the middle, along with something else you'll use, curves, photo filter. All of these you'll use. I mean, they're all handy. But we're gonna use hue and saturation a lot. And this is what I was talking about before with the clipping mask. To keep that in mind, we're going to right click on your hue and saturation. Make sure it's right above wherever you want to make the color change. Right click on it, create clipping mask. Now this is big because this makes sure that whatever you change on here, this is the color sliders, does not affect the rest of it. Now if I get rid of this clipping mask, you'll see that I actually, okay, well this is a bad example, but we're gonna push colorize so you can show you. It makes everything underneath it a different color. Sometimes that's handy, sometimes it's not. In this case, it is not. So I'm gonna show you how to use this. I mean, just change the slider, very self-explanatory. Saturation, you'll figure it out. Figure out what you need. Lightness, how dark and light. I don't suggest moving this too much unless you need it to be very faded in the background. Colorize makes it all one color, so that you don't have different types of colors in there depending on the colored what the original color of the image was. And so we're gonna just do basic with this. Change it to the middle. We're gonna make it a red color. Let's find the red that we need. That looked good. That looks good. Okay. Now that we have that color, we can mess with this if we want to. We can make it darker. I think I'm gonna keep it a little bit lighter. Saturation could go up, but this is a big thing in the graphic community. You don't want things to be deep fried. Some things are gonna be deep fried. You're gonna mess with some sliders and they're gonna be deep fried. But you want to aim for it to be not deep fried. Make it more of a high quality image. So we're gonna make this. I'm gonna get it slightly faded. -22. Okay. From here, I think we're gonna add a few more stalks and be done. This is a very basic one. This is gonna be the most basic one. I'm gonna edit this from here after that. And I think I might edit a few things on the actual layer style next episode. So let's see. Let's go to the atomic pack. One more real quick one. We'll find. That doesn't look good. I could just use the galaxy from up there. And I think I will. Okay. Where is it? Which one should I use? I like this one better, to be honest with you. We can rotate like I showed you. Move it around however you want. Put it wherever we want it. I think I want it right in the middle. Yeah, you could be like, hey, Bob, this is right in the middle of my image. I don't want it there. Erase the sides. What parts you don't want. Now we have this nice little thing in the middle. I don't want the bottom. So now we just have it at that top. I'm gonna go back. Click on this half circle, hue and saturation, create clip mask, per usual, and then change the color to whatever I want it to be. And a trick is, if you want it to be black and white, saturation all the way down. I don't want it to be black and white. I want it to be a light red, I think. Let's find out. Let's find out what I want. Where's red? Turn things down, turn things up, just experiment a little bit. Maybe colorize will do a better trick. That's a good transition from the two colors. Okay. So for this image, for this very basic image, that's these stocks we're gonna use. And you see, like, they don't have to be exactly related images. This is some weird nerve system looking thing. This is a galaxy and this is a galaxy. It doesn't match. There's no theme with this one. This is just to show you the basics. And we're gonna edit it later on, but don't worry. So that's the background. Woohoo, you made a background. Let's go. From here, you could call it a day. You could just finish right here. Turn on some lighting like you had before with these. Although I will say the lighting works better sometimes than it does others. So sometimes you will just not use this at all. I think I'm gonna turn it off. I'll keep the lights on. But we're gonna add a few more things real quick before we finish up. For the most basic Avi you can have, we need a name. We're gonna choose a font. I'm just gonna use whatever this is. You can choose whatever you like. This seems like it would fit most. You will come to find out that fonts are the hardest thing about GFX. Finding them a good one for your, it's impossible. Your Avi is going to look pretty bare without one, and it can really make the whole Avi. So really cool thing. Just I love this PSD because it has everything in it. We have a little name. I'm using, if you want to know, autograph, personal use only. Look that up on defont.com is what I use to find my fonts. And yeah, so usually a white nickname is where you should go. So I'm gonna show you a little trick. Sometimes it will be good, sometimes it will be bad. You just gotta make that decision on your own. Blending options, if you go back to that, if you remember how to get there, it's right click and at the very top. You can see it already has some effects on it. So this, you can delete them if you want to. Otherwise, add a little glowing effect. Turn the size up a little bit. Turn the opacity down, and you got like a nice little glow. Looks good from a distance. I'm turning this off. It changes the color too much. And so yeah, that is your basic Avi. Now a trick that is not so much for beginners, but this will help you in the long run. Learn to, when you're done with whatever you're doing, or you want to just see how it would look, go down to here to your bottom corner. There's this box with the plus in it. That creates a new layer. Put it above everything else. There's a bunch of options at the top. Find the one that says image. This one is gonna be should be next to edit. It says image. There's a bunch of different options, but you're gonna focus on apply image. And just whatever it says, press OK. This is gonna show you, this is a good way of seeing what it will look like as a profile picture, because it shows up as a little box in the corner. It's a little bit dark, but it still looks nice. And so basically, you could stop there. You can go up to File, Export, Quick Export as PNG, and save. See, I have a folder full of a bunch of my stuff, so I would just save it. And then I didn't name that one, but you should you should label and name yours. Or if you want to do one last color fixing, go to Filter while clicking on this layer, and go to Camera Raw Filter. Now you can mess with all this. I encourage you to mess around with all of these filters. The filter gallery, which can change how things look. Like, all these things are so cool. Look at, like, you can do a lot with these. You can just go really quickly. Like, already that looks pretty nice. That looks pretty cool. Mess around with those all you want. And what I just did there, now that's a bit complex for beginners, yes, but I'm just showing you experience what you will do. All I did was erase a different layer. So Control Z, just get rid of that. I'm gonna show you what I meant to do before. Mess around with these filter galleries and all these filters. Do that. It's way worth it. You'll see a bunch of cool things. Camera raw filter. That's what we're gonna focus on. It'll take a second to load. Man, it took a long second. Okay, there we go. This is going to be a playground. Basic, curve, detail, color mixer, color grading, optics, geometry, effects, and calibration. I only use 4 of these. Sometimes 5, depending on the one. So, the ones you're going to use are effects, optics, detail, and curve, and sometimes basic, but let's stick to the basics. So this is going to give you a nice vignette effects. Vignette. Tell me if I'm saying that wrong. Vignette. It'll make things darker, lighter on the edges. You know, good old stuff. Grain. How grainy it is. Sometimes this can be good. Like that looks not bad. But other times, we want this one to be smooth. So we're not going to use that at all. This also is vignette, and this one changes how bright the corners are. If we want it to be bright, I can do that. I'll do that. Why not? Detail. We're going to skip to detail, because these color ones in the middle, if you don't know what you're doing, it'll mess you up. Pink looks nice. Nice. But yeah, so let's put these back at 0. Okay. Detail. Sharpening. Does exactly what you think it would do. It makes everything sharp, crisp. Sometimes deep fries things, as you can see in this corner. We don't want that. Noise reduction. Smoothness times 1,000. This makes everything smooth. Background, foreground. It looks nice. Okay, let me get back to there. Turn that down. We don't want that either. Color noise reduction. This, you'll see a very slight change. It's only making things smoother with the colors, so it's not as harsh of a change. Curve. You will mainly use this one. This is the main one I use. And if you've gotten to this point and you're stuck around, this is a very helpful tool to use when you're finishing up an Avi. Highlights. Makes brighter stuff way brighter. So as you can see, I just made everything super bright. But that kind of deep fries it, so we want to stick to it like a little middle ground there. Lights, again, same exact thing, just changes it a little bit more. We don't want that too bad, so just a tiny bit change. Darks, how dark do we want the background to be, or the beginning ground? I want that, and it's all preference. It's whatever you like. I could like this, and then you could like this. So it's all you want. Now, since we don't have too much of a layer style, we're gonna want to keep this pretty light. There we go. I mean, this is what I mean by we'll barely use this. You can just, I would only change the clarity, the dehaze, and that is only on certain things, so don't worry about that for now. Vibrant saturation does what you think it would do. Black and white. Okay, so I think that will wrap it up. If we do this, you can see the difference it makes. Original, and then the end. A little bit brighter, a little bit darker in some spots. Looks pretty good. So be proud, that's your first one. A little basic, but you know, you'll learn to love it. So, I mean, this has been the basic tutorial of the intro to GFX. See ya.